going on, guys? Roger and Marco here, QVO Tactical. Tonight we're out on the range doing some night vision shooting because, guys, we're checking out the new Holosun IRIS-3 laser aiming module. This is the new hotness that is recently hitting the market, and we've been getting a bunch of questions about it. The team over at Holosun did send this out to us free of charge. I always want you guys to know how we go about getting products on the channel for review, but they sent this out to us. They asked us if we could get some content and stuff done for a SHOT Show coming up in a couple weeks. In addition to that, we wanted to bring it out and just get a video done for you guys, show you guys what's new to hit the market with the new VCSEL technology that they're using, the difference between that and previous, laser aiming modules. Speaking of other models, I did bring out a full power D-ball. I do have my MAL C+1, and I have a full power PEC 15. So we will be, showing compare and contrast for you. That way you guys can, check out how this is doing against other stuff that is on the market. But yeah, specs are looking really good on this, guys. It isn't quite all the way nightfall yet. Sunset is still happening. We got probably another 15 minutes before the sun's all the way down. But once that's down and we have complete darkness out here, we will get into shooting. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one, guys. Appreciate Josh over at Holosun getting this out to us. We've been working with Josh for a long time, so we appreciate his support. And any questions you guys have about this video, please let us know. I'm just an amateur night vision guy, guys. I have night vision that I come out here and just play out in the desert with my friends. So anything that you guys have that's constructive and educates us, please let us know as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we get into all the shooting and rocking and rolling with this thing, I kind of want to just go over the different features and let you guys see it as we're seeing it through a white phosphor PVS 14. So I'm recording this with my iPhone. It is hooked up to a PVS 14. I'm gonna have Marco start on this small target that is at 50 yards. It's a 6-inch steel target at 50 with the, let's go, low IR laser.
Low IR, switch over.
So that is the low IR laser. Go to the 100-yard target just behind that one. And then now go over to the 150. And then let's pan all the way over to this target at 30 yards. Cool. So now let's switch over to the illuminator. And then go ahead and focus that, because a lot of people are, that's one of the coolest things about this is that thumb toggle that you can just, the slider that you can use to focus. Bring it back out. Now let's go over to the 50-yard target. And then focus up on that one. Leave it focused to the 100. And now the 150. Bring it back out. All right, let's go to the dual input. So it's going to be IR laser and illuminator on low. And you guys can see right there, illuminating everything down. This is on low, so come up to the 50. Super easy to see everything. And then especially, let's go all the way to the 30 then. Boom. And guys, right now, we're not loaded up. Guns are empty. We're just showing you all the different settings with looking at our targets out here. 50, 100, 150, and then the one he's currently on is at 30. All right, let's switch it over to high power.
On high.
And we'll just stay on the dual. So you guys can see that's super bright. Through the actual night vision, it's much easier to see the dot, but recording through this PDF, through the iPhone, it's kind of washed out. But if you, focus up that beam and let's move over to the 50-yard target. So right there, super bright, super widespread when you pull it back. Let's leave it back. Go ahead and pull the slider back. Let's go to the 100. That 100 is a little hard to see because it's like painted white. But then now that 150-yard target, the C-zone all the way back there. Focus up on that, guy, so they can actually really see it. Boom. So furthest distance we can get right now for where we're at is 150. But I mean, at 300, this thing is going to be doing some awesomeness with being able to focus and really just illuminate your target. Right now, like I said, guns are unloaded. There are some people that are bonfiring over in this distance area over there. When we actually start shooting, we'll be shooting in this direction towards that large mountain. So, but yeah, just wanted to show you guys that is the low and high. And I know the first video I did on Instagram, I was only 10 yards away, so people couldn't really understand, how the slider was working and that widespread it gives you. But that's fully pulled back, and then go ahead and focus it up. Boom. So while we were just filming that segment, guys, Marco was kind of making comments about how easy the IRIS-3 is to use. I mean, you go out and do some night vision stuff, but other than with us, not really, huh?
Not really. I play laser tag.
So, like, your thought. I mean, it's intuitive, right? The buttons.
It's easy. Like it's easy to find everything. It's right there. The unit's tiny, so it's like it's easy to grab.
Right where you go bore, like thumb over bore,
Yeah,
the button's right there.
It feels normal, like I'm shooting a regular rifle.
I'll light up the unit and show you guys here in a second. A lot of people are asking like, hey, is it easy to accidentally hit that slider? It is not. The sliders, it's got a stiffness to it that makes it to where you purposely have to use it, and I'll show you guys here that now. So here's the control unit, guys, and right now we have it on the visible laser setting. Point that out to the left for them so you guys can see the left. That's going to be on vis, and then all the way to the right with the right lever is going to be off. If he moves it to the L, it'll be low. And with that visible laser, go ahead and shine it out there. You guys can see that's the low. Bring it to high. And you gotta turn it back on. And that's gonna be the high setting for that laser. And then coming back to the unit itself, you have off, low, high, and then you have the visible laser, go to IR. That's the IR laser. Then you have the IL, which is the IR illuminator. And then DI is going to be both the illumination and the IR laser. And that's what you guys were seeing on there. The unit's very tiny. Show them that slider. You guys can see, like you have to really, it's got tension behind it, which is something you really want. And then the actuation button is right behind it. And it does take a crane plug right here, you can see. And they have different pressure pads. It comes with one that's gonna give you activation features, but they have one coming out that's going to be a dual lead, so you can run the raid light in addition to running this setup. So you'll have I think a constant on, a pressure pad, a momentary, and then a third button for the white light. So I think something like that is in the works from what I remember when I was talking with Josh. But yeah, I mean, that thing is super tiny. It's on a 10.5 ADM setup, and you guys can see it's barely wider than the width of the handguard. Full power D-ball, 50-yard target. Let's go to the 100-yard. Let's go to the 150-yard. And let's turn it off. Full power PEC 15 at 50 yards. Let's move to the 100. And now let's move to the 150. Holosun IRIS-3 on high. 50-yard target. Go to 100. And then go to 150. Focus the beam for us. And then bring it back. B.E. Myers Mall at 50 yards. Let's go to the 100. And then let's go to the 150. Try to turn it down a little bit. As you can see from this side-by-side comparison, the Holosun IRIS-3 definitely holding its own. I think it's very comparable to the MAL C1 Plus. I do like the better spread on the IR illuminator. I do wish that it had, the full power laser capabilities like the D-Ball A3. I like the spread and, the full power laser giving the trail back, but that's just something you're not gonna be able to get with a civilian model. Now I want to take a minute to show you guys each indicator light. You can kind of see it right there. Full power D-ball, that's the indicator light that is going to come back to you when you're under nods, letting you know that the unit is on if you're not seeing it or something like that, or letting you know it's off. Obviously it wouldn't be in focus because your focus would be down there at your target, but I have it focused up so you guys can see the differences. But full power D-ball, next up full power PEC. Full power PEC 15 is going to be at the top, coming right back at you. There's your indicator light. Next up, let's check out the B.E. Myers Mall. B.E. Myers Mall probably has the brightest indicator light. That's what's going to be shining back at you to let you know that the unit is on. And lastly will be the Holosun IRIS-3. That is their indicator light that'll be shining back on you at the top of the unit there. I'm now going to record just through the iPhone so you guys can see how bright each indicator light actually is and what it would actually look like to the naked eye. Full power D-ball, there is the little indicator light. The iPhone's doing its best to have its ISO all the way up, but that's the little light that you're seeing, a little green that's coming back. Next up, full power PEC. Full power PEC 15, that will be the little indicator light coming back at you when you're using the unit. Next up, B.E. Myers Mall. Here is the B.E. Myers Mall. that green light coming back at you. It's probably the biggest and brightest light of all the units. Last but not least, the Holosun IRIS-3, and that will be the green light coming back at you. I'll try to focus it on it for you. But I'd say they're all pretty minimal. I mean, I don't think you have to worry about anybody seeing it, as it only shines back at you, and they're all pretty small. So when you're setting up zero, guys, the infrared laser does slave to the visible laser, so you can zero that way in the daytime if you want. We actually got lucky because this thing came pretty dialed in. I'm going to focus up out here for you. Marco's got it on. You have it on low laser only?
Yep.
So low infrared laser only, guys. And go ahead and shoot the 50-yard target. Now for the 100. And then let's go to the 150. Nice. So yeah, that's where it was out of the box for us. I don't know if maybe that's how they come, or if they maybe use this unit beforehand, but pretty freaking sweet. And as you guys can see, I believe this is my Otter Creek Labs, what is it, Polonium K for the 556. The puppy is glowing. I wanted to make sure I got you guys some footage of the visible laser, so I'm going to point down here at the ground first. This is on the low setting. So now we'll come up. This house is probably, I don't know, 100 yards away maybe. It's a house up for sale, guys, so there's nobody living there. Plus, I don't have it attached to a weapon, so nobody freak out. But that's on the low setting. Let me switch it over to the high setting now. And you guys can see it's much easier to see. Next house here, that house is probably 150 yards away. Those trees. So visible is gonna definitely go the distance, and at night you're gonna be able to see it even better. But those of you wondering about the visible, that's the different settings with the low and high. While I'm here editing as well, I wanted to just go over a couple of specs for you guys. It does use a single CR123A battery, and in regards to the specs, guys, IR illuminator is going to be a 60 milliwatt VCSEL. The IR laser is going to be a 0.7 milliwatt VCSEL. The visible green is 5 milliwatts. That's why it's you can see the difference between 0.7 and 5 milliwatts. And then again, the battery type is a CR123A. So you guys should see the differences when we did the side-by-side footage. We'll have the the milliwatt output of each unit that was being tested. But you guys can see here in the palm of my hand, this thing is pretty dang sweet. And that slider mechanism, I'll show you guys here under the light. It's very purposeful. Like, you can't just accidentally push it. It's got stiffness to it, and when you do it, you can feel and hear those clicks. So I think Holosun did a really good job with it, and I hope this pushes the market to have other manufacturers come out with more affordable options for you guys that want to run night vision stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Now for our final thoughts, guys, on the Holosun IRIS-3 laser aiming module. I think it did a really good job. Yeah. I would tell you to definitely do some research on VCSEL versus your traditional laser aiming modules. I do know that going this route with the technology they're using, it's going to kind of bypass what they can do in regards to all the FDA regulation stuff. But I think for $899 is what I think they go for. I think you are getting a lot. That slider feature is pretty damn awesome. You guys saw, being able to change the focus and the width on that beam at varied distances. I really did like that. I will say, bringing out my other laser aiming modules, all of those I did pay for, guys. So my maul was $3,200 when it first came out. That's a civilian maul. My full power PEC, I want to say I paid $2,400 for that. And my full power D-Ball A3, I believe is the model. I want to say I bought that used for $1,800. I did notice with the full power PEC though, and the D-Ball full power, you can definitely see the string with the high power laser. Yeah. So it definitely follows the unit back, which some people want. I did not notice that with the B.E. Myers Mall Civilian or with the Holosun IRIS-3. So if that's a thing that you definitely want to have, then you're gonna have to find a way to get yourself a full power unit. But I mean, everything else built in, every other unit, you have to rotate the front like lens of the illuminator, which is like cumbersome. You have to reach up under nods, you know, your depth perception is different, and so you have to like feel for it, reach up, grab it, and turn it counterclockwise or clockwise. Whereas this, you just move your thumb from the button that you're using to actuate the device, the engagement button, you just move it forward, and all of a sudden you're on the slider now, and you can go back and forth. And so that, to me, it's intuitive. Marco's never used this thing, and I was just telling him, like, hey man, just reach forward. He's like, oh, boom, filled. He saw it, was able to like hand-eye coordination to figure it out. I think anybody that has played with anything laser-wise, I think if you were to put this unit on your gun, it'd kind of be like something you just figured out. Like, oh, it's intuitive, it's easy to use. Controls are easy to read on the back. I mean, off, low, high, so OLH. And then you have Viz for visible, IR, IL, and then DI. And yeah.
It took me like 2 minutes to learn it. It's cold out here too, so dexterity is like out the window right now, but it is easy, like you can tell. I'm looking forward to the switches that they're going to come out with. However, I mean, honestly, I would just run it like this. How I have it configured with my RAID and the unit, it's easy to reach the unit. It's easy to get to the button. You double click it if you want it constant on. You just hold it down if you want momentary only. And it worked really well. I mean, I'm trying to think downside wise. I would say for me, using this, like the only time I've ever the only time in my past career in law enforcement, I think I would end up using night vision would be like clearing a house. So for that, I would say I'd like to see a diffuser of some sort. Like, it is definitely a lot of power, and I think like when I did that Instagram video at 10 yards, it was super bright. So I think in a house on a white wall, wash it. Yeah. I'd probably end up going what I do with my other guns, and I use like an IR light that is routed to the same button. So when I hit a button, any type of like mod button, hot button, whatever it be, the pressure pad, I engage it and it activates my IR laser and my IR flashlight that's on the gun, the weapon light, and it kind of just gives me a wider flood. But I think, you know, if somebody comes out with a diffuser for this, that would probably make it to where in a hallway it's just a big old flood. But honestly, in a hallway you probably wouldn't. I could just use the low power laser with my night vision on, and I'd be able to see what I need to see. But yeah, that's the only thing like negative I think I have to say. $8.99. I was talking with Joshua at Holosun. The guys worked really hard on putting all this together, and I think it knocked it out of the park. Like, just that slider thing, man. It's like that scope switch thing reminds me of that. Yeah. Like easy to do it. Like super easy. And you'll feel and hear the audible clicks. And if you're wondering, like if you're worried like, oh, I'm gonna accidentally, you know, engage that slider, you're not. It is purposeful. Like I'm pulling on it right now. You have to really engage it. Like it's not difficult, but it's not easy. Perfect medium, like perfect. But the other thing I want to address for you guys, I normally get questions like, hey, how'd you record all this different footage? So when you guys are watching the white phosphor footage, that's through a PVS-14. This is a AGM, what is this? I have an AGM PVS Omega. It's a 3AW, so white phosphor, Gen 3 tubes, and Gen 3 unit. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Again, guys, like I'm a novice when it comes to night vision. I have a bunch of units that I like to come out here and play, take classes every once in a while. But with a TNVC iPhone mount, I have it set up, and that's how we were able to record that footage that you were seeing, so you could see what we were seeing through our night vision goggles. The stuff you're seeing in full color night vision, that is on this Nikon Z50 that I actually had sent out, and I had the IR blocker removed. So I paid for that service. They take the camera apart and remove it so you guys can see the IR lasers and stuff in more of color. We do use a red backlight to kind of give us a little bit of light so we don't have to use so much ISO out of the camera and make it all like noisy, the image quality. But by doing that, you're seeing those lasers and they come out as like a fluorescent violet color, fluorescent violet color, like a purple, or like just kind of like a pinkish red. That's the IR laser and the IR illuminator. When you would be looking at that, you know, through with the naked eye, you don't see anything, it's invisible. So, but that's how we filmed all that stuff. And right now we're just using a studio light and our regular Nikon Z6 II. But if you guys have questions about how we have the stuff set up, or you know, anything that we did out here, please let me know down below in the comment section. Holosun, we appreciate you guys sending this out to us. I think you knocked it out of the park. I think this is going to, you know, get other manufacturers like $2,400 for, you know, my mall's a civilian unit, and I paid full price, $3,200 for that thing, and it's great. It is super bright, but I mean $3,200 on top of like
you know, if you guys want a little crash course on how expensive night vision is, these are my Photonis Vipers. These retail for like $7,200. I bought them used for like $5,700. Kevin's got my other set on, which are my DTMVSs that I bought from my buddy over at Dark Industries. Used to be Goonin Gear, you know, and those retail for almost $15,000. What else? I have my AGMs, which I really like. Everybody craps on AGM, but I like that they auto gate really well. They're really robust, but the those are the NVG 51s. And then I also have another set of AGMs that are the greens, and those kind of got burnt out, but somebody left them on, pointed at a light. Anyway, long story short, guys, it gets expensive. So you're talking about, you know, these to me, I would probably get if I was going to go buy one unit. They kind of do everything I want, and they're really clear. But you're talking $7,000. Then a B.E. Myers Mall is another $3,000. Then you want, you know, I have an ADM set up here. ADM is going to run you $2,200. I'm running an aim point. Was this the A-Point Pro or the AC? Yeah. I think it's the ACO. This is the ACO, the aim-point carbine optic. On a high riser, everyone's like, why such a high riser? So I can do passive aiming, passive shooting through my night vision with the optic if I need to. You know, you throw all of that together, and then the suppressor. So, you know, this is a $3,000 setup rifle. Yeah. So you're talking, you know,
helmet,
almost 15 grand for one person to be set up. So it does get pricey, it does get expensive. So seeing Holosun come out with a laser aiming module that's under $1,000 and that is this feature rich, I think is awesome. Hopefully we start seeing similar stuff from other manufacturers and kind of make it, you know, more competitive. But I do like what they're doing, and I appreciate them sending it out. So any questions, let us know down below. Happy to answer them for you. I appreciate you guys checking all the videos. We rushed out here. It is freezing.
It's cold.
You guys saw in the video, the suppressor got super hot. We've all been like using it as like a campfire to put our hands around. But appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one. We'll see you at SHOT Show. See you guys.